Hey guys, Thomas from Team Sakurasso here, coming at you guys with the obligatory ban list prediction list. You guys have been asking me, hey, what do you think is going to get hit on the ban list about every single video? And I can't wait to make this video. I sat down and really thought about it, and I think I got some good, solid predictions on what Konami is going to do. And remember, this is a prediction list, not a want list. So I'm going to tell you guys what Konami would do and why they would do that. So if you like that, make sure to check that you're subscribed. We're almost at 3,000 subscribers. If you like these videos, make sure to smash that like button. Let's see if we get 75 likes on this video. If you're buying any cards off TCG Player, please use my affiliate link down in the description below. Helps out the channel to no additional cost too. And we're going to get right into it. So for ban, what I have first is Artifact Scythe. Some people are saying that Artifact Dagda is going to get hit. Or I should say ban. And there's no real good reason for that, because if they ban Artifact Dagda, then number one, they have one less card to reprint because it could be worth some money down the line. But two, it doesn't solve the problem. There's ways to Buster Lock, there's ways to Scythe. You know, you could still just Artifact, run Artifact Scythe and Sanctum with the Trap Tricks package, and you can still play it that way. The card and the problem that Konami's trying to solve does not go away if they ban Dagda. It doesn't do anything at all. You know, Konami really likes to tiptoe around cards, especially when it makes them money, it's just released, and it can help them sell products. They'll try to hit the other cards that aren't really a problem to slow it down, instead of hitting the main problem. But they're not going to really do that this time. I think they're just going to ban Artifact Scythe and just be done with it. It's the smartest move to make. And that's my first card that I have banned. Now, a lot of people are going to say this, Spellbook of Judgment is going to come back to 1. And while I think that could happen because the TCG follows the OCG quite a bit here, it is not guaranteed. Now, I think it's going to happen because Konami likes to give us a banned card here and there once in a while. And I think we're maybe approaching a decade at this point of the card being banned. It's somewhere from 8 to 10 years. I remember playing that format personally and it was a lot of people's favorite format, at least for Zexal era, which we call Dragon Ruler format, where Dragon Rulers were not tier 0, they were almost tier 0. Because of Prophecy and this one card. If Prophecies did not have Spellbook of Judgment, it would have been a tier 0 format with Dragon Ruler taking 65% or more of the tops. Now, what I personally think is that while we do have a pretty good chance of seeing this card back, I think that it all depends if Konami wants to follow the OCG first or see what the card does there, because there has been Striker Tops using a Spellbook package, because you guys have to remember, you know, with Spellbooks, you get to stack the graveyard with spells, so Kagari gets attacked. You get 3 spells easily, and Spellbooks are pretty decent where it can increase the attack of your monsters. You can pop stuff with Fate and banish it. It's great. So if it might come this list, but might come the next one. All I know for certain is if it comes off the list, expect Spellbook of Judgment to be on in the next reprint set, and they're going to use that to, push that set or whatever. Now, the third card I have banned here is Hulk. Now, everyone kind of knew that on Hulky Fibrax, aka Needle Fiber, I want to call it Needle Fiber one last time, even though we're all used to saying Hulk, was going to get banned in some way, shape, or form. Now, we have it limited right now, and I don't know if that's because Konami understands that actually, in some strategies, having multiple Hulks is degenerate, while most players really only need one to play one. Everyone wants to stop the Hulk. If your opponent doesn't have anything for Hulk, for the most part, they shouldn't have any type of hand trap or any type of response. And players kind of use that to kind of check their opponent, because there's no way people are going to let Hulk through. It really just depends on when they were going to ban it. And this card, before it even came to the TCG, got multiple tutors and cards banned because of it. Now, we have some of those back, like the Strudo, but my favorite banned card currently, or one of my favorite banned cards, I should say, is Glow Up Bulb, and we can't have Glow Up Bulb with Hulk. Now, I will be a little biased here and say I would love to see Hulk banned so we could get Glow Up Bulb back. That would just be so awesome, but I don't know what they're going to do with Glow Up Bulb. All I know is Hulk probably finally going to get the ban hammer, and I think a lot of players are actually quite happy about that. Now, alright, so now for the limited list. Now, the first card I have here is Emergency Teleport. Now, this could go to 2, possibly, but the TCG doesn't like hitting cards to 2 usually. Fusion Destiny was quite rare, but Emergency Teleport to 1. Now, why I'm saying this is because not only is Punk abusing it, but a lot of decks have been abusing Emergency Teleport at 3 for a long time now. And the biggest problem isn't that it's the consistency, but the fact that it's not once per turn. Because if you open up 2 Emergency Teleports, unless your hand is completely dead, you should probably win the game. 85-90%, unless you get completely and utterly hand trapped to death, or something, or you misplay, or something terribly goes wrong, if you open up to emergency teleport going first, you should win the duel. You know, they want to hit, they see decks like Punk and, you know, Adventure and cards from Grand Creators doing a lot of damage, and while they may not want to hit those cards, they can hit cards that are outside that are kind of accelerating that. You know, Konami's hit, for example, Tenki to 1, and then it's 1 up to 2. You know, we have Rhoda at 1, and Emergency Teleport is better than both those cards because it doesn't add, you special summon it, and again, it's not once per turn. So I think Emergency Teleport is finally going to get some sort of hit, which, as much as I love the card, I don't think it's a card that should be at 3, personally. Now, the second card that I have limited here is Wind Up Carrier. Now, usually, I would tell you, oh, this is my bias pick, they're finally going to put Carrier back. But players have been more adamant on Carrier coming back more and more. And Konami does go through the list sometimes. They're eventually going to look at this card and see, why do we have it on our list? We could just put it to whatever. Especially because they don't want to have too many of an exact extra deck monster on the list that I've noticed. They always try to keep it relatively low when it comes to that. Not too sure why, but it's just a habit that I've seen. Along with, and a lot of people are probably going to say this in the comment, oh, but we could just ban Hunter and put Carrier to 1 or 2 and it'll be fine. I'll be perfectly honest, yes, they can do that, but no one's really going to play Wind Up Loop, you know, anymore. They're just not going to, right? That deck is not a problem. It's 2022, you know, we're 10 years into the future. Just drop it. The deck's not going to do anything. Although, what I do think that Wind-Ups could be decent somewhat deck if it got a little more support. It's just not going to do anything. You know, I really thought the biggest chance for Carrier to come back is when they got their Link support, but sadly not. Now, for Water Enchanter and Right, along with the whole adventure package in total, I thought that it was too new. However, Konami has hit cards that are 6 to 9 months, like, in the TCG. And Grand Creators came out to the TCG late January. I believe it was the 26th. So, we're now in August. It's been barely but 6 months. And again, we're a little wary on when we're going to get this list. We could get in a few days. We could get maybe in a month or two. We're not really too sure here. So it gives them ample time to hit this engine, as well as they've been seeing what's been topping, and Adventure's been going absolutely nuts. You know, I think that with some events, they've had over 2/3 of the top 32. They also did rush an Ultimate Rare of this card, which, again, I think is terrible and a bad precedent for OTS, which, by the way, one of the end cards is going to be talking about that if you want to go check that out. But because they gave us that ulti within like 3.5 months, I believe, maybe 4, I think they want to do that because they had plans to give us some type of you know, ulti adventure card, but because they want to hit the engine, they were going to hit you know, they want to give us a vast ulti before they did that, you know, to make it a better OTS, because they don't want to give us an OTS where one of the cards is limited. If they can, you know, help it. So I think the reason they perhaps rushed it, and that was something I kind of wish I mentioned in that video, was because there's going to be an adventure hit. Now, is it going to be Right? Is it going to be Water Enchanters? Who knows? But I do think that Adventure will actually, I'm pretty confident they'll get a hit on this list, actually, especially if it's a little farther out. So, and I hope to see it, because I'll be honest with you, while Adventure Engine probably isn't the most degenerate engine, and maybe not even close, I do quite hate dealing with it already. Now, I also think that Mystic Mine is going to get limited. It could get banned, and a lot of people are probably thinking, well, I think you're using your bias in order to hit this card, because I do agree, and I'm going to say my bias here. I think Mystic Mine is probably, it gives the game the most boring game state that there possibly could be. You know, and, you know, a lot of people like to use broken and all these other terms. I'm going to use boring, right? You know, honestly, I just want to go on my phone when someone activates Mystic Mine. You know, it's just completely boring. But the reason why I actually think it's going to get hit, you know, putting my bias to the side here, is because this deck has won multiple YCSs, right? It's been multiple top 4 deck lists, right? This specific card, and Konami's already printed it twice, so it's already made its money off this card. The hate for this card, regardless if you think it's warranted or not, is present quite highly, and I think it gets worse and worse the more time this card is in the game. I think that Konami is going to look at this card, especially because they're looking at, you know, what's topping, like striking, like, oh, you know, it's because of the Mystic Mine. And they're finally going to hit this card. That's what I just believe. Because of that, you know, it wasn't just an event here and there where it was in the top 32 card list. It was multiple. And, you know, first place YCSs, that's crazy. So we're going to get right into the next card here. SWORDSOUL Emergence or some branded stuff. Now, I think that SWORDSOUL Emergence is the good limit here. And I think a lot of people have come to the consensus that, yeah, that is the appropriate hit. I think that either that will happen or they will wait for the tins and give us our ban list then. Maybe after they sold the tins and then hit this. Or we might just get one more format with SWORDSOUL. It really just depends. But I think that Emergence is the correct limit here. It's been a long time. And I think that's probably what they're going to do. With what they're going to hit with branded, I personally have been thinking about it. A lot of people have actually, because I've actually looked into it, and I'm getting a lot of different, arguments, right? It's like, oh, well, branded red is kind of crazy, or tax dragon, is the big problem, because sometimes you make a play, but you're basically dead at that point. And you could have won a game that you didn't. Right, I've seen people like, oh, well, branded opening's crazy, and I've heard a lot of different, I've heard some people say a lure, but I disagree with the lure heavily for a hit. I don't think that's correct. I think that maybe branded red is probably going to get hit, if anything, but I'm not really too sure. They definitely want to make sure, I bet, to make the deck less splashable, because the deck is quite splashable, like, for example, tier limit branded. Now, I have seen some Splight branded, but not really much of a thing there, but tier limit branded is a thing. Some people play, other versions of tier limit as well, and I think that is going to get the hit personally. Now, so to semi-limited. Now, a lot of people aren't going to like this, but I think Jackalope or Stake could go to 2, maybe both could go to 2, one could go to 2, or something like that, because we're getting a new Dark World structure deck, and I think Konami's going to understand the synergy between Dark Worlds and Dangers, and to sell their new product, they want to put the Dangers up, right? I actually, funny enough, this is a bit of a digression here. I do see us maybe getting a common Tsuchinoko in the structure deck, which would be awesome, because the card's cheapest version is about $13, $14, and this card's existed since Soul Fusion, so could definitely need a reprint. Unlike Jackalope, that's gotten, I think, 2 reprints since then. Crazy. So, or maybe even 3, actually. I think it got 1 in the tins, then 1 in Battles of Legends, and then as like a common, but anywho, I think that one of these is going to go too. I don't like the Danger package in general. I think that it's very detrimental to the game, but they want to sell their products, so that's what's going to happen. Now, so for Unlimited, what I have first is TRICKSTAR Light Stage. Now, a lot of you guys that maybe not have been playing the game for that long, or maybe forgot, I want to refresh your memory on why this card was limited in the first place in order to support my reasoning, which is it got hit so that Konami did not have to, ban or limit Nightmare Mermaid. I believe Shade Brigade, not Shade Brigade, but Phantom Knight Link also got hit because of this. Because Konami likes to kind of dodge and walk around problems before they have to hit the actual problem. It was the same thing with Firewall before it got banned and then it got rotted to come back. They didn't want to ban that card, especially not only because it was new and it was recent, but they were in this predicament with an ace monster having to get banned, which is something that Konami really hasn't been tackled with yet. So they kind of hit everything around it. It was the same with Mermaid over here. TRICKSTARS were able to accelerate it and just get a free Mermaid on the field a little bit, so they wanted to hit TRICKSTARS instead of this card. Now, they banned the card eventually, but however, they kind of left, and Konami loves to do this, they kind of like to leave the remnants of, oh, we put a little band-aid on this, even though it doesn't solve the problem, but even though we solved the problem, we're not going to tear off the band-aid yet. So Light Stage has been, for absolutely no reason, sitting there at 1. Now, it is at 2, I understand, from the last list, but it was limited for way too long. It was already a dumb decision. They put it at 2. It's doing absolutely nothing, which I know many are shocked at. If you can't detect my sarcasm, I don't know what to tell you. But it's probably just going to go up to 3. I even told people this in my ban list reaction, which I'm going to have for this next ban list, by the way, so make sure to check that out. We're also going to see some other cool strategies pop up with Light Stage at 3. I think that while it's going to be maybe a little relevant, I don't think it's going to have any competitive relevance. And that's the big thing. So that's my ban list predictions. I want to make this video quite fast because some of these videos I've seen go up to 30, 40 minutes. I just want to give some people kind of the simple rundown on what I think Konami is really looking at here. I think that they're too busy and occupied with product and all that. I don't think we're going to get some sort of crazy ban list on this one. We're just going to get they're going to try to solve some problems, and we're going to be just disappointed as always. You know, rinse and repeat. Anyway, guys, thank you for watching this video. Make sure to like and subscribe, and let me know in the comment section below what you guys think is going to happen on the ban list. I always love to hear your guys' thoughts and opinions in the comment section below, especially because, to be frankly honest with you here, I kind of put this video off because I was like, honestly, it's just going to come whenever. And because of us not knowing like the exact cutoff, like, you know, oh, we're not going to get ban lists, say, until August 30th, right? We don't really have that anymore. So I'm always kind of scared to make prediction videos because I'm not going to make a prediction video and then the ban list comes out the next day. I've done that with OTS like 3 times, which is a very strange coincidence. So I kind of have a sour taste in my mouth because of that. But I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.